Hey everybody, welcome back to another season of MLB from FSI. It's Mega Ruler 31, joined by McKinley 412. We'll be your coaches this year, and just got done with some spring training, and we had a lot of success. Both of us won $1,000 and a couple of GPPs, and took in a couple hundred more throughout the season. And what a crazy spring training season! Like we think it's like spring training's crazy enough because you start out and like the first days, the guys get one or two at bats, pitchers go like one inning, and then they throw out these new rules where a game can be anywhere from 5 to 9 innings, and they can end an inning at any time. So the bases get loaded, and the coach comes out like, okay, that's it. And then like pitchers, like there was one day, I think it was Lance McCullers from Houston that we rostered, and we're like, oh man, he got pulled after the first inning, and then like the second inning starts, he's back out there again. And then, like a batter gets pulled, and we're like, oh man, that's disappointing. He had a great matchup. And then like all of a sudden, like, wait, he's back. So, but now we're back from spring training. We're back to normal Major League Baseball. And there's a couple things that now we need to worry about. Everybody isn't $45,000. And we have to worry about weather because luckily there's, I think, only maybe like one or two rainouts during the whole spring training being in Arizona and Florida. But tomorrow we might have some issues. So how are you doing, McKinley?
Doing well. Yeah, I'm ready for the season to get started. The chaos that spring training is, it was really easy to kind of build your lines because everybody was the same price, but I got burned way too many times on managers calling the inning. Like my batter would come up to bat with the bases loaded, and then you're waiting for the game cast to update and the inning's over, and you're just kind of looking around like, what just happened? He never even got.
Some of it felt like if you played KBO on Fanduel last year, where you had to wait till the end of the game to figure out like how you did. Like you could check the box scores and kind of know where you were, but like the live scoring was down. It was just it was a fun challenge. But anyways, so we start tomorrow. Fanduel starts at 105, and DK is going to start at 210. So Fanduel has the New York and Toronto game, and it has the Cleveland and Detroit game. Both those games have mild weather concerns. It's supposed to be snowy across, and some maybe rain too across the Mid-Atlantic. So we're looking for cold temperatures in New York, in places like Washington and Philly. Cleveland, I think one of the Cleveland pitcher is going to be pretty popular. Detroit, he's the highest priced guy. However, that game has wind chills in the 20s. So the rumor is that it's potential that there might be a delay or that they might have to call it off because of the temperatures are too cold. I don't know if you remember like a couple years ago when some of those Midwest games all got moved to Milwaukee indoors because we kept on having snow in Cleveland and it was just a bad winter. But anyways, some of the other weather things that we're looking at is, wind really affects Chicago. And what's it going to be like in Chicago, McKinley?
It's going to be cold. I mean, it's going to be cold. Wrigley, you got the wind blowing in, and it's going to be some strong winds too. So near freezing temperatures, strong wind blowing in. I'm not expecting to target many bats from that game at all today.
Yeah, the Cubs had a really good preseason, and Jock Peterson was just absolutely on fire. I think he had like 6 or 8 home runs. He was just crushing the ball, and that team did really well. And I was looking forward to, hey, this is they're playing Pittsburgh, and like the pitcher, he had an okay preseason, but here's a great opportunity. But then we look at it and we're like, no, this is not a great opportunity. Again, Washington, 44 degrees. Coors Field is actually on the slate, which you have the best team. They're defending world champions who lost nothing and gained everything over the offseason, playing in Coors for a 66-degree day. You'd think like maybe in Denver that they'd have like a blizzard or something, but that's probably going to be one of the nicer places. Philly's going to be a little interesting where you have like a 17-mile-hour wind blowing straight across from left to right. So every single ball is going to go to the right field. So if you're going to the game, make sure you sit first base side. You'll catch plenty of balls. Other than that, I think Oakland's going to be a beautiful day. 67 winds blowing out 9 miles per hour. So other than that, like again, things can change so fast. It's especially this time of year. Then you hit May and June, you're okay, and then we hit the summer and we have all those pop-up storms. So that's one of the biggest things of Major League Baseball DFS is just keep an eye on the weather.
Yep. Don't forget Cincinnati there. Cincinnati's also going to be very cold. You're looking in the 30s tomorrow as well. So,
okay, so let's start with some pitchers. So up top, we have Yu Darvish, I believe, on DK. So some of the other guys we have are on the higher level are Glasnow, Maeda, Castellanos. Anybody stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean, Darvish is probably going to be the most owned guy there. Definitely going to be having him in a lot of my lines. Glasnow, he's going to be popular for every reason. He should have no trouble getting through this Miami lineup. My main concern, yeah, pretty much a minor league squad here. My main concern, though, is it's Tampa Bay. How long is he going to go? You know, they're notorious for not letting their starting pitchers go very long. That third time through the lineup, you know, all the analytics say batting average goes up. It's there. It's proven. So who knows? He might only get 4 or 5 innings, especially on the first day of the season. But I mean, he's still capable of mowing 8-9 Ks down in that time. So he's going to be popular. He's for every reason. He's got that high ceiling, but I do have a slight concern with how far he's going to be allowed to go into the game. Really, that mid tier of pitcher, I think it's absolutely loaded. You know, Castillo, Glasnow, Maeda, Woodruff, even Hendricks. You know, Hendricks is an interesting play, just with the weather in Chicago.
Yeah, not much power with those winds.
Yeah, 33 degrees, strong winds coming in. Not much is going to be happening
too, there. So not much power with them anyways.
So I'm definitely going to have a lot of Hendricks in my lines here. And on the opposite side of that Chicago game, you know, Cool, not the best pitcher. Not sure how long he's going to go. He's only 5'2".
He had a 3.30. He had a 3.30 ERA in preseason, which wasn't bad on a 31% K rate. And last year he wasn't horrible. I wouldn't say like he's a dumpster fire, but I think, you know, if you're looking to try to stack Coors Field with Dodgers, who are very expensive, and he's the lowest priced one on both sites, I think you could do worse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can do worse right up above him with guys like Gibson or something. So yeah, I don't mind him as like
Texas and Kansas City, basically.
As a total fadeaway, just strictly due to the weather. You know, those Chicago bats are scary. I wouldn't be rostering him at any other point of the season, but because that weather is looking so bad for the bats, I'd be willing to take a flyer on him. He'll probably be in some of my GPP lines for sure.
So yeah, I thought Maeda had a very good spring. So I like him. Yeah, and I can see Woodruff too against Minnesota on the other side of it, because Minnesota had a very bad spring. The lineup that's out there, their average was like 196. Their on base percentage was like 268, and they had by far the lowest on base, you know, overall of any of the major league teams. It was just not a good time for them. So, but then again, it's spring training, and that's a hard thing, is like we can look at our spring training and it, you know, we saw some guys that popped and seemed to be doing well and seemed to have things figured out. But again, they're against pitchers for 2 or 3 innings. They're against minor league guys. So it's going to actually, you know, data wise, it's and even like last year we had a 60 game season. So it's really hard to use that as a pure sample size. So it's probably going to take till like April or May before we have some like real actionable data to go on. Yeah. But, you know, it's cool to get back and see like Major League Baseball have hopefully a normal season. I just have to, you know, commend them during spring training. There were very few issues with COVID, a player here or there that was out for a bit. So knock on wood, you know, hopefully that continues. But if you look at the other major sports, like the NBA didn't have any like huge outbreaks with teams. Like they had a couple teams out for like, a week or so, but nothing like last year where like we lost St. Louis for like a month and the Marlins for 2 months. And, and let's hope that continues. Okay, well, so pitchers. So we said we liked Darvish, we like Castellanos, GPP, Krul, Hendricks, Glasnow. We're not sure about. What about some hitting stacks? Like who we stack? Obviously, well, let's start with Coors Field because they're expensive, but you're going to need some
100%.
There.
But really, the batters are expensive. But like I said, pitcher is so loaded. I think in that mid tier, if you fade Darvish, there's plenty of options in that 8K range that I think you're going to be able to fit those Dodger bats, and you're going to want to. I mean, obviously, Coors Field, one of the best offenses in the league. How are you going to fade them? On the other side of that match, Colorado, they're going against Clayton Kershaw.
Should that be scary?
I'm still going to be playing those Colorado bats. Kershaw, his velocity is down on the fastball. I know he has more movement on his pitches now, but he had a rough spring. And like we said, we have to take a grain of salt with spring training and everything.
What his ERA was for the spring? 10.22.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was over 10.
He had 14 earned runs, 3 home runs. Yeah, his K rate was only 23%. So, obviously there's something wrong there. So, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he got absolutely shelled in those last 2 starts of spring training. So, name recognition, he's going to be pulling a lot of ownership. Obviously, it's going to be reduced just with the Coors Field knowledge and everything. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be high on those Colorado bats as well. Especially
it's kind of a different team this year because Arenado's not there anymore. Like you still have Story. You're not going to have Blackman leading off anymore. He's probably going to be hitting 4th, but I like him. He's done well versus Kershaw in the past, but down the lineup, and people are probably going to pass right over him, but he's very reasonably priced on both sites, is Garrett Hamston. The guy had a bunch of stolen bases in spring training, and over the last 3 years, I think he's got 2 or 3 home runs on Kershaw. So, it's definitely somebody that I want to get exposure to Colorado, play him, like probably maybe a mini stack of Blackman, Story, and Hamston.
For sure. For sure. Other teams I'm looking at for stacks here, San Diego, Boston. I think both of those guys. Boston, you can go up and down the line. Leading off, Kike, probably leading off. Kike Hernandez, he's just way too cheap. I don't know if this is like a misprice or what, but he is way too cheap at 3K. He's probably going to be one of my highest owned players in all my lines there.
And I like how he's second base and outfield eligible, so there's definitely some flexibility there. But
for sure. But yeah, that Boston line definitely in good shape. San Diego going against Bumgarner, he's just
who is he? He's still pitching.
Yeah, he's done. So San Diego, they're going to be cruising tomorrow.
See, I heard at the rodeo, and it was never the same or whatever.
Something. A 4-wheeler accident, right?
Dude just had bad luck in the off season.
Kept getting injured, but yeah, he's at the tail end of his career.
San Diego's all in this year with their off-season moves. That team is absolutely loaded with young talent, and they added some, good veterans there. It's hopefully going to be a special year for them.
Yeah, poor guys though. They gotta be in the same division as LA. So
it could be like the new Yankees, Boston.
Yeah. So San Diego sadly has to play LA and go through LA, but oh well. But as far as kind of like a GPP kind of off the wall stack that I'm going to be looking at tomorrow is Cincinnati.
Okay.
I don't know. It's got a feeling about them. Going against Flaherty. Flaherty, he's all right. He's not a terrible pitcher. Had a decent spring. Had some hiccups here and there, though, in a couple of his starts. But that Cincinnati lineup, it's got plenty of left-handed bats. Moustakas, Votto, Winker. So you're going to see a lot of opposite power and really power from that line. So you got the Great American Ballpark, small park. Winds are going to be blowing out. It's going to be cold, but I'll take my chances for a lower owned stack there with Cincinnati. What about you? Do you have a stack that you're liking?
Well, for like 5 years ago, I started doing something. I started on Fanduel. It's a little bit more difficult on DK, but I can make it work because the pricing's higher on DK. Fanduel, you can pretty much play anybody. But I started stacking like 2 teams and playing them every single day. I played Cleveland and the Angels, and I played it in like the $1 GPP, and I won it like probably 20 times throughout the year doing that. So I'm trying to figure out who my teams are going to be. And initially on Fanduel, I had it. It was beautiful. I had Kansas City and the Cubs before I realized about the win situation. And then Mondesi gets put on the 15-day DL or IL or whatever they call it now. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. So I'm going to play around with that, and eventually, hopefully, I'll come out like in a week or so after I see how the dust settles, and I'm going to commit to that. I'm going to figure out like what stack works and play it every day for $1 all day. Well, if the 2 teams are playing, it might be kind of hard some days if it's an off day. I'm going to lose a lot of money that day if I do that, but just for the fun, just to see. But Kansas City is in a good spot, I think, and Texas. Like Brad Keller is not the ace. I think Duffy was supposed to start there, but he got hurt, and Gibson doesn't impress me either. There's a 9 total in that game, so weather should be decent. I definitely could see some pieces there in GPP. I think that people are going to be off this Kansas City lineup, especially when they get healthy and get everybody back in. But they have Merrifield up top. Like, he had a down year last year, but he looks like he was back in spring season. They picked up Benintendi from Boston. He's a great contact hitter. He was never like the leadoff guy that Boston was looking for to like hit like 30, 40 home runs. He's just going to get on base, and he's got great speed. And then, Solares, Santana is really cheap, especially on DK. He's only like 3.6, and then Perez, a catcher hitting up high in the order. Like I like them. And when Mondesi joins that, like they got speed, they got contact. I think they're going to have a special year.
No, I fully agree with you there. That's a good team to build your GPPs around, especially if you're doing your strategy of picking them every single game that they play.
The other one that kind of interests me too, and just they had a decent spring. They're not the dumpster fire they were. They're dumpster embers now. It's not a blaze, but Baltimore. They have like Mountcastle came out last year, and like he was on fire early in the season, or maybe I was 19, but one of the years. But Mancini lost last year with like his cancer, but he fought that, and he's back now, and he hit like home runs like the first like 3 games of spring training. So and Mullins on DK, wow. Leadoff guy for only 2-1.
Yeah.
$2,100. So that's definitely can make a lot of things work if you're willing to sacrifice one outfield spot. But yeah, those are some places I'm looking. So let's talk about some value plays. FanDuel, Jay Bruce is way too cheap. He's got good BVP versus Ryu if he's in the lineup. Luplow from Cleveland. I also like Framil Reyes. He seems to crush lefties, and he's against a lefty. He's a little bit more expensive, but honorable mention there. Rojas is from Arizona. I believe he's leading off too, plays second base. He's like 2K. And India for Cincinnati. You said that, it's going to be cold out there, but keep an eye on him for this season because he had a really strong spring. His down in the lineup, but there might be some good potential there for some value. You got some guys on DK?
Yeah, I mean, guys we've already mentioned, Kike, for Boston. Mullins, like you just said, 2.1 leading off against Eovaldi.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely going to be finding his way in some of my lines. Other guys, Texas, David Dahl.
Yeah, he's not in Colorado anymore. People might play him because they think he's in Coors.
No longer. He's only 2.5K.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Lefty righty against Keller. And, I don't know how much you played of him in spring, but I was on him a lot, and he was always underowned. I don't know why, because he did pretty well. But guys would always flock to get like Gallo. But he was always under owned. But he's in a good spot tomorrow. So our guy's Hunter Renfroe. He's kind of he's my home run call tomorrow. If he sneaks into the line there. So I think he's going for the home run. Absolutely smashes the ball, fly ball hitter, righty lefty against John Means. Means can't strike out righties. He just can't. So hoping you got looking at the weather here. 11 miles an hour, wind blowing out. He's my home run call for tomorrow.
I see Roman Quinn for Phillies, only 2.12. He's got some speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very fast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like the value is there tomorrow.
Yeah, Tucker Barnhart at catcher at 2.4. He's a lefty facing a righty in your Great American Ballpark there. So, definitely.
The value is definitely there. You can pay up to Darvish. Like I said, mid-tier pitchers, it's loaded. I don't think you're going to have to be punting down or to any of the cheap pitchers at all. The value's there in the bats. Pitching is loaded. It's the first day. It's opening day. There's so many studs that are going on right now. And then in 4 days, we're all going to be looking at each other, wondering if we have to take two pitchers because it's going to be
because like when Monday roll around and we're picking between John Lester and Brew Baker and
it's going to get ugly real quick. So that's the joys of opening day.
Well, we might have like a little bit of a reprieve because they kind of gradually like break, like there's a couple games off. So some teams might not need the fifth starter until like mid-April, but yeah, it definitely can be kind of scary at times.
For sure.
Okay, well, I think that kind of wraps things up. And if you want to join us on fsidfs.com, you can find the info to subscribe for our season, and you can get in our Discord. And there we'll answer questions. We'll post cores. We'll have cores for Classic for both DK and Fanduel. If there's larger, early or late slates, we'll do that too. We'll do tiers. We cover Showdown. So looking forward to this season. Looking forward to helping you guys make some money. We're going to try to have a video out here daily just to kind of give you a little bit of insight. We'll be recording the night before, so as always, things might change. So always keep an eye on weather and starting lineups and scratches, and we're still in COVID, so it might be people that we lose from there. So the best place to, if you're in that Discord, as soon as we get breaking news, we'll get it to you. We'll give you what adjustments you need to make. If anything pops up, lineups come out, we see some great values, we're here to help you out. We want you guys to make money and do well in DFS and be able to enjoy this great sport. So we got 162 games ahead of us over 180 days. So it's going to be fun. So McKinley, any last words before we sign off?
No, I do have a question. What ballpark you got behind you?
This is actually old MacArthur Stadium in Syracuse, New York, where I grew up. We used to call it the Big Mac. So they used to have there used to be a Marlboro guy out in the outfield, and at one game they knocked his head off. The guy hit a home run, and the thing was so old and the wood had rotted. His head just flew off. So that was great.
That's amazing.
What do you got?
Salem Field, so Buffalo. It's where the Blue Jays were stationed last year when they closed down.
Are they playing in Toronto this year, or where are they this year?
I think it's still up in the air. We're starting the season out in down in Florida, but who knows where they'll end up.
Yeah, like the Tampa Bay Raptors.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for watching. Like I said, check out FSI DFS for more information. Get in our Discord, and if you like this video and this free content, we try to cover all kinds of different sports here. We even if you get into FSI Discord, we have so much free stuff too that we give out too for you. So check it out. Some information, some great things. We're all here to help out and to try to help you guys be better players. So thank you for listening. Give us a like, share. We're well over 2,000 subscribers now, and we continue to grow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we encourage you to do so. Tell your friends to come and check us out, and we appreciate it. It helps us continue to do this free content for you. So good luck tomorrow, and we'll see you soon. Peace.